Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar on 5 ways to increase revenue through your front desk. My name is Irina Rostevsky, and I will be your host for today. I'm an education specialist here at Millennium Systems International, and I am responsible for both the internal as well as the external education of the company. With me today is your amazing presenter, Robert Maconi. He is Vice President of Enterprise Sales. He has 17 years with Millennium Systems International, and he himself is a 29-year salon and spa owner. Before I turn over controls to Bob Maconi, I do just want to give you a brief overview of GoToWebinar. You've noticed that we've placed you all on mute. That is so we can get through all the information in the time allowed. However, if you do have any questions, there is a chat on the lower right-hand side of your screen that you can address any questions that you may have, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you throughout the presentation. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to the amazing Bob Maconi. Bob?
Thank you, Irina, for that amazing introduction. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for attending this webinar. When marketing approached me a few weeks back, asking me if I wanted to do a webinar on increasing productivity at the front desk, I immediately jumped on it. And the reason I jumped on it is because I have about 29 years of industry knowledge and experience in my own salon, as well as 17 years of working for Millennium Software. So I had the ability to travel over the United States and learn so much from the salons and spas out there. And a lot of what I learned I brought back and tried in my salon. Now, some of it was trial and error, but for the most part, I learned some of the really great things that could help me grow my front desk. So today's agenda is your front desk a cost center or a profit center? We're going to go over 5 easy ways to increase revenue. So is your front desk a cost center or a profit center? Now, a lot of people ask me, what's a cost center, what's a profit center? For me, a cost center is a non-income producing position. Although the front desk does a lot of different things that are really important, like answer phones, greet guests, close out drawers, book appointments, and ring up sales, but they're really not generating income for the salon. A profit center is that same person with that same position, but they're also generating revenue. They're able to not only do their fundamental job, but also do other jobs that create revenue for the business. So 5 easy ways to increase revenue. The 5 easy ways that I chose were pre-book, upsell, cross-sell, add-on, and one of my favorites, proactively contacting clients. I'm also going to talk about my own salon experiences in this 30-minute webinar. Now, we're going to move pretty fast, so strap yourself in. We're going to have some fun, and here we go. So pre-booking. Pre-booking is the act of ensuring that your clients always come back by booking their appointments in advance in the future. So before you get into pre-booking, in my opinion, you need to create a culture around it. Pre-booking is a culture, and the culture starts in the chair. It also goes to the back bar, but ultimately ends at the front desk. And I'm going to go over some of my own pet peeves in my own salon. And one of my pet peeves were when, again, I would walk into my salon and my front desk professional at the time would be asking a client, do you want to book your next appointment? In my opinion, that's wrong. I mean, does a dentist ask you if you want to book your next appointment? And when I went to a dentist a couple of weeks back, at the end of my service, at the end of my appointment, the dentist gave me a card. We'll see you in 6 months on Monday around the same time. If you need to change your appointment, just give us a call, and we'll move it. Meanwhile, you have an appointment. Why not incorporate or adopt some of that same, methodology into our own business? So don't go in and tell your clients. Give them the appointment. If you're automated, have your system pop up. Like in my salon, we have a system that actually pops up and gives me opportunities to book the next guest. So before the guest has a chance to leave or even pay for the service, our software automatically finds them opportunities to book. Now, what we also do is we reward our clients for pre-booking. And one of the things I started back in 2005 is a loyalty program. And one of the loyalty programs was for pre-booking. If a guest pre-booked their service while they're in the salon, they get 2,000 points. Basically equates to $2. So I reward my guests $2 for pre-booking the appointment. And what it does, again, by pre-booking, what pre-booking ultimately does is increases your frequency of visit. And frequency of visit is one of the most powerful growth indicators we have in our industry. And later on, at the end of this webinar, I'm going to show you, by using a program, kind of black and white, down and dirty, what it equates to if you were to pre-book and were to do some of the things I'm asking you to do. So again, if your software does it, if your software allows you to do it, turn those features on and start your pre-booking. But the main thing is to create a culture around it. Get buy-in from everybody. The next thing I want to talk about is upselling. Upselling is the act of replacing an existing service with a more expensive one. Everybody's doing it. If you go to fast food and you order a burger, they try to supersize you to the meal that has a supersized fries, a larger drink. Everybody's doing it. Ultimately, you want to pay in a few dollars more for that service or for that product. So, but before you start upselling, what do you need to do? You need to train your team on upgrades. You're just not going to start throwing upgrades out there for anything. You're going to actually go over, again, get buy-in from everybody, and go over what you want to upsell for the day. For an example, an upsell that we do in my salon, if somebody calls to book a massage, a 60-minute massage, we have a window in our software that pops up and say, recommend a 90-minute massage. So there's other things you could do. If you upsell a color, if someone calls in for a color, a window may pop up and say, hey, recommend a highlight. Well, what am I doing by doing all that? What am I doing by upselling or by recommending higher level services? We're increasing our average ticket. And that, again, that's another growth indicator. It's the second most popular growth indicator we have in our industry. And what I love about this, it's what I'm showing you guys, what I'm about to go through is not rocket science. What we're doing is just plain and simple stuff. You probably already know the things you need to do, but you just don't have a process in place for it. Again, if you automate it, guys, turn your systems on. Cross-selling. Again, cross-selling is the act of booking additional services to an already booked service. So, ultimately, and again, I'm going to go back to my salon, what we did, we have about 2005, 2006, I incorporated a spa component into our business, right? So people would come in, but they really never knew about some of the spa services that we offered. So what I did is, again, being automated, I was able to set up processes in our software where somebody booked for a haircut, a window would pop up and say, hey, there's an opportunity right after the service that we're trying to book. So if somebody booked for a haircut, we recommended a spa service, maybe a facial or massage. Now, those of you who are not automated or don't have a software that can do that, create a manual process. Again, you may want to go ahead of time and say, okay, for the month of March, we're going to really try to cross-sell or try to generate growth in our spa component. Or you can even drill down even further. We want to promote waxing more. We want to promote skincare. We want to promote body care. So what you want to do is create a process around that. So you can also not even cross-sell into a whole other department. You may want to cross-sell into your same department. An example for that is a pedicure. If someone looks for a manicure, why not recommend a pedicure? And what you could do is say, and a script might be, you're trying to book them a manicure. By the way, Bob, while we have you on the phone today, I noticed, because I looked at your history, you may have looked at the history, I noticed that you never tried one of our pedicures. Would you like to try one today? And being that you tried it today, we're offering a promotion, a 20% discount to get it. So what are we doing? We're cross-selling to the same department or cross-selling to another department. Again, by cross-selling, we're increasing your average ticket again. The main thing, I know a lot of you guys are automated, so you probably have all these things built into your software. Start looking into it. Turn them on, because this is going to help that front desk do that. Add-ons. Again, add-ons are items that have been both added to an existing service at no extra time but an extra cost. Again, we have there's so many ways that this can increase your average ticket. A couple examples for add-ons. A lot of you guys are doing facials out there, right? So when people call for a facial appointment, what is your script for that? To add on. You may be, you may want to recommend an eye treatment. You may want to, again, if they book for a massage, you may want to recommend aromatherapy. One of the, and for me, again, I'm going to go use some of my own experiences. One of the things we did prior to me doing this webinar, I ran some reports on my own salon. And last year alone, one of the add-ons that we did was a conditioning treatment. Simple, just a regular conditioning treatment. So last year, at the desk, we booked 970 add-ons. Those add-ons were about $5 add-ons, which equated to $4,850 in services. Right? Treatments, eye treatments, with every facial we booked, we recommended eye treatments. And this year alone, we booked 65 eye treatments. That's $30. That's $5,500 in eye treatments. Now, if you add those two together, we're near $10,000 in add-ons. That's a lot of revenue. And I'm a small salon. I can imagine some of you guys are huge, where you can even take it to another level. But before you get into the add-ons, what you want to do, before you start, your script at the front desk with your guest, you want to pull up your guest as you're making the appointment and really quickly look at the history. See if they had booked the add-on in the past. And again, recommend that same add-on. Again, it's not rocket science. This is so easy that anybody could do. And this is something you could do right away. So far, we talked about pre-booking, all right, the importance of that, increasing your frequency of visit, upselling. Again, and what's really important is educating your whole team, and building a culture around all this. We talked about cross-selling. So again, if you're booking a haircut, why not recommend a manicure? If you're booking a manicure, recommend a pedicure. If you're booking a massage, recommend a facial. Again, it's not rocket science. Again, what do add-ons do? Increases your average ticket. Again, everything I'm showing you right now is increasing revenue. Again, this is the difference between a cost center and a profit center. Right now, before you did all this, you're just paying somebody to do the fundamentals, which is important. I get that. But by doing just 4 of these things so far, we're creating revenue for the business. This is one of my favorites. Proactively calling clients. Are keys to keeping a filled appointment book, and this is so true. And I'm going to reference another story that goes back to my salon. Back, I guess, a couple years ago, I hired my son to run my front desk, and I trained him on our software. And I trained him all the reports he should be running. And then one day I pulled the report, and basically the report was about 100 people that came to our salon that never booked to come back. So we pulled the report, 100 people that came, they had a service, whether it be a skincare service, body care, hair care, whatever it was, but they never, ever called to book an appointment to come back. So I gave that list to my son, and I asked him to call these clients, offering them an incentive to come back. And over the course of 2 days, he called the clients. He called about 100 clients, and out of the 100 clients he called, 30 of them booked. At the time, my average ticket was around $50. He generated for the salon $1,500 by just doing what I asked him to do, by pulling that report. Again, not rocket science, very easy. Now, what I don't go over here is that of the 30 clients that came in, did they pre-book? Probably did, because our pre-booking percentage was up. Did they cross-sell to other departments? Probably as well. Did they buy gift certificates? May have. So it's actually a lot more than $1,500, but just bare bone minimums, $1,500 came in. So again, he did that, and again, our salon is kind of your average salon. We do about, let's say, 75 services per day, so we're pretty busy, but he still found time to do that over the course of 2 days. Same thing with upselling, cross-selling, and everything else I talked about, add-ons. He still found time to do those things. Another thing that I noticed in my own salon, again, I'm going to throw my salon under the bus, we used to take, people would call and they would cancel their appointment, or they would go on a wait list. Right? What I found out what I wasn't doing was we weren't going back to that cancellation list. We weren't going back to that wait list. We weren't finding out this client ever came back to us. So we created a process. So at the end of the day, my son Travis would actually call the clients that canceled, and the clients that are on the wait list. He would call them, and we found out in about, let's say in an average day, about 5 people would cancel. Of those 5 people, he wound up getting them to rebook. Of the 6 people that are, 7 people that are on our wait list, because on Friday through Saturday, we have several service providers like yourselves are so slammed, so busy, we just couldn't take them. So we put them in our wait list in our software, or little sticky notes. I mean, a lot of you guys aren't automated. You have little sticky notes you put all over the place. But we never called. We never got back to those clients. So we left money on the table again. So now we have a new process. And a lot of people I talk to throughout the industry are doing the same thing. They pull that report. They pull those clients that are on the wait list, and they contact, especially the wait list. These are people that were dying to come in with Kathy or Lillian or Susan, but didn't get a chance to come in. Did they book somewhere else? Or they're just in limbo land, or they didn't get any service. So what we did is we started calling them back. And we found out by calling them back, we were able to rebook them. We were able to get them to come back in. Again, this is all easy stuff that you guys can do. It's just creating. And at the end of this webinar, I'm going to leave you with an action plan. I'm also going to go over how much revenue you're going to be making by just doing some of these fundamental things. It's so easy. And it's like I keep going back to saying it's not rocket science, because it isn't. It's just so easy for you guys to do. The next thing that we did, which I never used to do, and a lot of my clients are doing, and everybody today, I would say every software is automated with some kind of marketing program. And if you're not integrated, your systems already have it. But we started targeting clients that we haven't seen in a while. Again, going back to even like that list of 100 clients that haven't come back to us, we started automating that process. Our system started to email clients that we haven't seen in 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Don't wait till 6 months or a year down the line. Start now. And this is something my front desk is able to do on their downtime. We're not busy 8 hours. He or she is not busy 8 hours a day just booking appointments. A lot of times when I used to come in, another pet peeve of mine, I would come in, and my own son, I'll throw my own son under the bus. There he was. He was Facebooking, Instagramming, texting his friends. That all changed. He either said, do it this way, or you got to find another job. So again, we got rid of all that. And I've seen that in many of your salons. I would walk in the salon, and the front desk professional would not even look at me because she's texting her friend. So there is a lot of downtime. So just by making a few changes that I showed you here, we had about a $37,000, $38,000 increase in revenue. This is how I made Salon 200, by just changing a few of those things. Again, by proactively calling clients, right? We increased our revenue. Now, it didn't just increase our average ticket because proactively calling our clients also increased our frequency of visit, our average ticket, our new client retention. These are all growth indicators in our industry. And I wish I had a lot more time because I could tell you, I could just go an hour and a half just on our growth indicators. But by proactively contacting your clients and automating some of that, you're able to touch on so many different areas. So 5 easy ways to increase our revenue. We've gone over that. What is the benefit of doing these 5 actions financially? And this is what I was talking to you about. A lot of people say, yeah, it sounds good. You know, it sounds good to pre-book. It sounds good to upsell. But what does that equate into dollars and cents? Right? I'm going to show you a program. It's called What If. It's been out for, I don't know how long, 15, 20 years. I use it all the time. A lot of our clients that have our software use it. And basically, it's a tool that you're going to sit down with your service provider. You're going to sit down with your front desk professional and go over how much revenue they can make, how they can affect that business by just tweaking some of the things that they do at the front desk. All they have to do is follow 1 or 2, and I'm not saying do all those 5 things I just talked to you about. You could just do 1 or 2 of those things, and you can increase your revenue by not thousands of dollars, and I'm going to show you by tens of thousands of dollars.
Great.
So, Irina, you can switch it over to me so I can take control.
Yes, I'm just going to switch it over to you.
Great. So I'm going to show my screen. So again, guys, this is real information. I'm using my salon data from a while back, a few years back, when I started getting into growing my front desk. And I'm going to show you. I changed the names so you don't see which one of my service providers I'm talking about. But I'm going to specify one of my service providers. So I'm going to go into. Hold on 1 second. Okay, hold on 1 second, Irina. Now, hold on 1 second. How come I can? I'm, of course, technologically challenged here. Bear with me.
Okay, Bob, no worries. So just let us know when you are ready.
I got it. I got it. Okay, again, what I did is I changed the names of my service providers, and it's one of my real service providers from about 5 years ago. So I'm going to go in, and her name is Sue Rizzo. And again, just focus on what I'm going to show you. Don't look around all the other numbers. But basically, right now, if everything stays the same for Sue, if we don't pre-book her more, if we don't increase her average ticket, this is what she can generate in service sales. But what really did happen with Sue? With Sue, we were able to increase her frequency of visits actually by 3. But for this scenario here, for this demonstration, I'm just going to go to the bare bones minimum. Right now, Sue's frequency of visit, that means how many times her clients are coming in, is only 4.8 times a year. We know that's way below industry standard, right? We're a hair salon that does a lot of color. It should be at least 6 to 8 times a year. And Sue has been with us for quite a while. So by rebooking, by pre-booking guests at the front desk, by rewarding guests by a client loyalty program, and doing the right things and building that culture around pre-booking, we were able to get Sue's visits up, let's say, 1 more time. I'm going to show you 2 times, two more visits, but let's just start with 1. So we're going to increase the frequency of visit from 4.8 to 5.8. Now take a look down here. You see her service sales. We just had almost a 21% increase in revenue. About $29,000, Sue grew her business by rebooking, by pre-booking her clients. And all we did was raise it 1 visit per year. And how do we do that? Again, by building that culture around the front desk, by really emphasizing at the station to get that guest to pre-book, right? And then when the guest comes up to the front desk professional is now going to pre-book them. She's going to reward that client with points or something she's going to do to get that client to come back. It's a script maybe. Again, don't ask the client, just do it. In reality, this service provider, we've raised to 6.8 visits per year. Today, she's close to 7.4 visits per year. But we're just going to do 2. We're looking at $57,000, almost $58,000 in revenue. Now, what's really great about this, guys, this is just 1 service provider. This is just 1 service provider. So let's go back to 5.8 visits per year, right? So we raised it by almost $30,000. But if you had, this is 1 service provider, if you had 5 or 10 service providers, do the math. That's a lot of revenue. And all we did is get that client to pre-book 2 more times. Now, we talked about increasing average ticket a lot. And we increased it by add-ons. We increased it by cross-selling, right, and upselling. Right now, or back then, my average ticket was $75 for this service provider. Not bad, especially in our area, it's not bad. But by upselling in small amounts, right, we did the treatments, we did shampoo, let's say this particular service provider, we did a lot of increase in conditionings, and she did a lot of different things on the salon side. So we got her to increase by $5. Now, in reality, today, it's a lot more than $5 since we started. But let's say, just for the sake of math, we increased her average service ticket to $80. And all we do is upsell some minor, small things, conditioning treatments, eye treatments, whatever. So now we have a $40,000 revenue increase, about a 28, 29% increase in revenue by just doing two things. We focused on upselling and cross-selling and also rebooking, pre-booking. All right, guys, and again, this is only for one person. Could you imagine if you had 10 service providers? What that revenue is? How does that affect the bottom line of the business? Not only the bottom line of the business, right? Not only the bottom line of the business, but the service providers, right? Their revenue now is going up. Their income, if they're on a commission base, they're now growing. If they're on a team-based pay, the bonuses are going to be higher, right? So everybody wins in this.
Perfect.
All right, Rena,
so
you can switch me back.
Turn back over control. Perfect.
Great. Now, okay. All right, excellent. So, how do we make this? How do we incentivize our front desk? And this was a challenge, and I learned so much from you guys. And again, I didn't make this up. I learned a lot of this from being on the road. I learned a lot of this from attending classes. And again, it just clicked on one day, with us here at Millennium. Why not make it a career opportunity? A lot of times, I went through in my salon. I did the math again. Over 29 years, we had about 100 front desk people that came through my salon, and a lot of them, they were transients that came in. They were in school, whatever. But I'm sure I could have kept a lot of really great ones if I made a career opportunity for them. So my recommendation is, create an opportunity for them. Sit down with them. Say, listen, for $8 an hour, I could bring you at $8, and it could be $10, it could be $12, whatever it is in your area. In this scenario here, it's $8 an hour. The basic job function is this. You're going to book appointments and do this and this. But if you learn, how to pre-book them, if you learn how to upsell and you follow our processes, in 6 months I can get you to $10 an hour. And if you master that, you could become a front desk specialist. If you master that and go a step further, now you're pre-booking, you're upselling, you're cross-selling, you're motivating, you're helping your your service providers. We're going to make you a front desk professional. And that front desk professional is going to earn $15 or $20 an hour. And a lot of people would say, wow, $20 an hour, that's a lot of money to pay the front desk. But as I showed you, if you educate that front desk staff and build that culture around all the things that you want to do, it's $15 an hour, which is what, $35,000 a year, a lot of money when you're generating over $200,000 in revenue, or if not more. I've seen salons and spas generate a lot more than that just by tweaking or following some of the processes that I just went over. So again, build that culture, build a culture around all those things. But before you get started and all of this, you need to have a benchmark. You need to actually analyze your data first, right? You need to run a report, and you're going to say, okay, here's where we are today. Where do you want to be, right? And create your benchmarks. Use your reports. Create a benchmark. And again, what you want to do is educate your team. But start small, guys. A lot of people want to do everything. It's like our client loyalty program. A lot of people, when we launched our client loyalty program, a lot of people launched everything. I even did. I launched every aspect I could in my client loyalty program, and it failed. But what you want to do is start small. Start with just educating your team, and say you just want to increase your frequency of the visit for your team by 1, right? Increase your average ticket by $5 maybe. Right? You don't have to jump from $15 to $20. Start small, and then go back. What you want to do is run your reports, the same report you ran in the beginning. You want to run that report and go over it. I guarantee you're going to see an increase in revenue. And I'm not saying do all 5. Focus on 1 or 2 things. I think the best thing to focus on is increasing your frequency of visit, right? That's the easiest thing you could do. That's something you could do today that generates money for you tomorrow. So by coming up with a concept, or coming up with a way or process of pre-booking, automating some of that process if you can, you're gonna make a significant change at your front desk. And then again, with the increasing your average ticket, a lot of people say, well, they try to recommend $15, $20, $30 add-ons or upsells. Start small. I've seen this with a lot of Paul Mitchell salons. And a great example is what they call in their wash house. A person comes back for a shampoo for their cut, and they give them a menu. And on their menu, there's 12 or 8 or 12 different upsells. And what those upsells are different types of scrubs for their shampoo. So they have a mint julep, or I forget the name of it. They have different aromas, different types of conditioning treatments, and they wind up picking one. They give them the menu and say, well, I'll take the mint julep. I'm just making that up. I don't know what the real name is. And that was a $5 add-on. All right, so that's something they could even do from the back bar, not just the front desk, but in the back bar. Just little things that I learned throughout my travels. Irina?
Yeah, great.
So,
thank you so much, everybody.
I'm
sorry, Bob.
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. I lost you for a second. I had a disconnect somehow.
No worries. Okay, everybody. I know that we have about 5 or so minutes. Bob, that presentation was amazing. That was a lot to learn in just a short time. Thank you so much. We do have contact information up on the screen, as everybody can see here. For those of you that do, I do see a few questions that we have that came up. If you can go ahead and type those questions into the chat, either myself or Bob will be more than happy to address those for you, time allowing. Otherwise, we do have a variety of contact information up on the screen here. If you have additional questions, please post them to our Facebook group, which is the business side of beauty. You can also email us at education@millenniumsi.com. And lastly, if you would like information on either Millennium or Mevo, which is the Millennium is the software that Bob has been referencing throughout this presentation, you can contact sales@millenniumsi.com. So at this time,
Irina, I also like to.
Go ahead.
I also like to add, if anybody, I love to talk shop. So if anybody wants to email me directly, you can give my email address, Irina. They can email me directly, and I could, go over some of the things I talked about in more detail. I just wish I had a lot more time because there's so many more things we could talk about. But if you like, I'm opened up to speak with anybody. Just send me an email, and I'll email you back, and maybe we can meet at a trade show somewhere, and I can show you some of these things. But I'm open to any kind of contact with you guys.
Oh, perfect. So that contact information directly for Bob is rmaconi, M-A-C-O-N-I, @millenniumsi.com. Again, that's rmaconi at millenniumsi.com. So for those of you, I do still see a few of the hand raises for the questions. The chat screen is the last option on your GoToMeeting tab there. You can just click the plus sign and it will activate the chat open, and you can go ahead and type questions into the chat. We'll be more than happy to address them.
Questions?
So while those questions are coming in, Bob, do you have any short and quick ways for us to remember the difference between an upsell, a cross-sell, and an add-on?
Upsell is, how do I say it? Upsell is, well, cross-sell is an addition to, right?
Perfect.
And upsell is instead of, right? And add-ons are just adding to. I have no quick. Maybe I think you have the shortcuts for that, Irina. But what are some of the things that you know? I know you were telling me when you were training some clients, you came up with a cute little way of remembering it.
Yeah, so my cute little way of remembering it, ladies and gentlemen, you have cross-sell, add-on, and upsell, and they seem like they're very similar. The way that I oftentimes remember the difference between the three, an add-on is a service that you get with a different service. For example, as Bob stated, aromatherapy with a massage. An upsell is a service that you get instead of an existing service. For example, a 60-minute massage gets upsold to a 90-minute massage. And then a cross-sell is a service that you get in addition to an existing service. So as Bob, the example that he had given, a pedicure with a manicure or a massage with a facial. So you have upsell, which is instead of. You have cross-sell, which is in addition to. And then you have add-on, which is with. So that's my cute short way of remembering the difference between the three.
Thank you, Irina. Do we have any questions, Irina?
That are coming into the chat, not right now. I was able to address a few throughout the presentation. So we're exactly at the 1:30 mark, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
So Bob, again, we'd like to thank you so much for doing this presentation today. Your expertise
my
is always
pleasure.
appreciated. And
my
for those
pleasure.
of you
Wish
that
we had
are
more
on
time.
the webinar right so we do have, as Bob stated, he is given out his personal email. Again, that's rmaconi at millenniumsi.com. We have education@millenniumsi.com. And then you can post additional questions to our Facebook group, which is the business side of beauty. Thank you all again for attending today's presentation. I hope you all learned a lot.